A rose is a rose is a rose, wrote Gertrude Stein. And on Valentine's Day, that is what it is, millions of times over. Martha Teichner is our guide, and her subject is roses.
Walk me through all these amazing names.
I mean, here's Super Green and Cool Breeze.
This is orange juice.
Look at this. Full house.
And this is High Society.
Milano. Look at these. These really are almost black.
I feel like Miss America.
Oh. Guess how many roses Americans are expected to buy for Valentine's Day? Close to 200 million. But that's nothing compared to the 2.7 billion grown here or imported every year. Walk into the San Francisco wholesale flower market or a California rose grower's greenhouse or the Dutch flower auction outside Amsterdam or the cargo side of the Miami airport. And the extraordinary story of cut flowers begins to unfold. It's all about staggering numbers and speed and global travel.
This is kind of the United Nations of flowers. These roses actually come from Kenya.
In one stall at the San Francisco market,
We've got some Ecuadorian roses right there.
author Amy Stewart shows me the world.
Here we've got Mexico. I mean, they're so ephemeral and so perishable. So to think that they could survive a journey around the world, I had no idea.
Stewart has written Flower Confidential, a kind of gee whiz, everything you never knew about the flower business book.
Spin the globe, look at the equator. If there's an airport nearby and a workforce, you can put a flower farm there.
So the flower industry has been outsourced to Singapore, Kenya, Latin America, to countries where land and labor costs are a fraction of what they are in the United States or Europe. What percentage of our flowers come from Latin America?
78% overall, but when we start talking about carnations, it's closer to 96%.
Wow.
There are almost no carnation growers left in the United States.
Likewise for roses, over 90% are imported from Latin America, particularly from Colombia and Ecuador.
This rose will open up almost as large as the palm of my hand.
Wow. Bill Sakai is the embodiment of what's happened in the flower industry. For 90 years, his family grew its own roses. They sold their flowers alongside the other Japanese, Chinese, and Italian immigrant growers who came together to form the San Francisco Wholesale Flower Market in 1928. Now, there are almost no growers left. Do you grow any roses at all as a family now?
We do not whatsoever. It's all an imported rose business.
Forget any notion you might have that a rose farm looks like a garden. Think high-tech flower factory. Acres and acres of the most fashionable, up-to-date varieties of roses in temperature and light-controlled greenhouses. They're cut just as they begin to open. Within seconds, they're in water.
These are Wow. This is the variety Wow. And
This is Obies in Watsonville, California, founded by Dee Dee Meininger's Italian grandfather. Obies produces 4 to 5 million roses a year, which, believe it or not, makes it only a medium-sized operation.
what's behind us is our grading machine, and the guys are just selecting the rows by variety and putting it on the machine. They're being graded by length and gathered into groups of 25.
Obies stays in business by getting its roses out the door in perfect condition fast.
The minute you cut a flower, it really does start to die. So there is this kind of race to get the flower out of the greenhouse, into the production room, in a box, on a truck, into a flower shop, so that you can still get it home and, enjoy it for 5 or 7 days.
What you need to know is that how long it lasts will depend on whether it's been kept cold till you buy it. Just look at this.
All of these roses here are the same batch of roses. They're the same age. And this was held at 35 degrees. So they're still living, okay? These were held at 42 degrees. These were at 50 degrees, and those were at 70 degrees.
Terrell Nell is chairman of the Environmental Horticulture Department at the University of Florida. He oversees a lab dedicated to the science of creating better flowers. Ever wonder why most roses don't smell? Because the smell has been bred out. The lab is working to breed it back in. How? By studying petunias.
Well, petunia is interesting to us because it's the white mouse of the plant world. It's very easy to genetically engineer.
A petunia, says University of Florida horticulturist David Clark, is closely related to all kinds of other plants, including the rose.
Here in the past 5 years, petunia has provided the information that has led to the isolation and understanding of most of the genes that are involved in fragrance that are known today.
Petunias, it so happens, contain rose oil. Horticulturists can genetically engineer a petunia to make more of it. Then they can replicate the altered petunia gene in a rose. The result, a rose that smells like a rose. The flower industry has long believed that fragrant roses die faster. A myth, say Clark and Nell, who are close to proving it. Are we going to have fragrant roses again in 10 years?
Yes.
5 years?
Yeah, I think so.
Not in time for this Valentine's Day. But here's news you can use. If you walk into a grocery store and the bouquets are right next to the fruit and vegetables, beware. Why? The produce gives off an invisible gas called ethylene. It's good for ripening, say, avocados and tomatoes. It'll kill the flowers, which is the last thing you want on Valentine's Day. So is this for your girlfriend?
Yeah, it's for my girlfriend.
Now for some romance.
I don't know, all girls like flowers. Make them smile for a minute, I don't know.
We find ourselves at the Bonnie Doon Garden Company, Teresa Sabinoya's tiny flower kiosk in the middle of downtown Santa Cruz, California. Here, top-quality Valentine flowers might cost you $100 or $10.
We can add a beautiful tulip in here.
And if you really want to make an impression between now and Valentine's Day, drive by.
You're my
Free with your flowers,
funny Valentine.
a song from floral designer Nancy Heff. Since Valentine's Day is the day for roses, we thought we'd leave you with this quotation, author unknown. The rose speaks of love silently, in a language known only to the heart.